Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a pleasure to be here with you, sharing and learning together again. The whole purpose of these videos that I've been posting is for us to learn how to live in this world, this beautiful place God has created for us. But the problem is that we don't have the instruction, the manual. We are not using the manual to live according to what God says. Because remember, this is a corridor. We all passing through. We aging. We all came here to complete our purpose, our mission here. And then we have a limited time to get that done. And the only way that we can do it right is if we follow what God has says for us to do. And I'm here with Kamar, and this is awesome. A young man that I've known for what?
Y'all came down here together.
Yeah.
So 6th grade, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So 6 years.
6 years, and I'm telling you, this is a phenomenal young man. I've known him for a while, and I've watched him grow into a beautiful human being. He loves God, and we have been sharing together, learning together, and just really, we want to connect with God. We really want to serve God, and we know there's no other way. Because why? If you look at other people's lives, it has completely just crumbled. Why is it crumbled? Why is it not working? Why we're not happy? Because the Creator gave us a manual, and we decide to ignore that manual. And anytime you decide to ignore that manual, you're going to fail. Okay, this is His world. This is God's world. This is His house, and we are His children. He has rules, and as long as we decide not to follow those rules, we're going to suffer. So go ahead.
I'm Kamar Brennan. I was born March 2006, and I am a follower of Jesus Christ. I came out here just to, have like a great conversation, so you guys can like, comment, share, and subscribe if you want to know more. Follow his account. But today we just talk about God and following Him and how He can change your life and different perspectives on different situations.
And you know what, Kumar, why don't you tell me about what you did today in church, the speech.
So today I gave just a brief testimony because today we had a Christian rapper come to our church. I attend Hosanna Church. I'm a member of Hosanna Church. This is located in Pooler, 505 Highway 80. And I was born with a disease called sickle cell anemia. This disease is a blood disorder, so it's not nothing you can catch. It's not nothing contagious. It flows in your bloodstream, and it stops oxygen flow around your body. So if you know anybody with sickle cell, you know that they have severe joint pains or aches, or they take folic acid, because a person who has sickle cell actually requires more protein than the average person. So I was just telling them about, how it's actually more of a mental thing than a physical thing to me personally. I don't know about you guys, if you have a disorder, it's always why me, this and that and the third. But in the Bible it says, my power does greater in weakness. And I understand that when Paul had a thorn in his flesh, he was able to boast about it because he knew the Lord can work with him, and the Lord can use him in his weakness, and now he is able to boast about it. But also, the message, the whole point of the thing was that, because we're going into this new year, and this video is probably going to get posted around January 1st, January 2nd. So when you're watching this is actually December 31st. So what you should do for 2024 is there should be no plan B. I'm not talking about the one that you get from CVS, but what I'm saying is that you should follow, if you're walking in accordance to the will of God, His favor will be on you and everything will flow. There should be nothing that should be too hard, too rough. Yes, we have to endure, because that is in the Bible 100 times. I highlight it every time I see it. When you endure, it's not nothing quick. It's not like a GPS where it just reroutes because you see an accident, you want to go around it. No, it makes you go through it, and that's how you're supposed to live your life. And if you walk according to your purpose, everything will be nice and smooth. In Jesus' name.
Beautiful. We were discussing this morning in regards to, like you said, the thorn, and this conversation was yesterday. We were talking about why is it that people have certain illness, and then one of the things that I pointed out that the Torah, which is the Old Testament, speak about is people who are in a wheelchair, people who are disabled. They're completely paralyzed from the neck down, and all they can do is move their head, and sometimes they can't even speak. And now you look at these people who we're talking about, is that you're thinking that, how can God do this to these individuals? But it led into the reason why the Torah, which is the Old Testament, those of you who've been watching, and you're wondering where this is coming from, remember the Torah has over 1.5 million books. These are Jewish writing. They are called the people of the book. That's what the Jews are called, people of the book. Now the Torah says that when someone comes back with this physical disability, they're wheelchair bound, is because it's reincarnation. Meaning that in the previous life, they almost got everything done. They become almost perfect, but they have one more thing to fix. So God returns them back to this world again to fix that one thing that's left. But God says, I'm going to give you an insurance policy, a protection. And what is that? I'm going to put you in a body that can't move. Why? If I give you legs, you're going to go to the nightclubs. If I give you hands, you're going to steal. If I give you a voice, you're going to speak Lashon Hara, meaning that evil words, wicked words. So therefore, I'm going to restrict you where you cannot sin, where you just come to spend your time here, and then you go straight to heaven once you die. Why? Because they're almost done with their mission. So God, that's a protection that God gives these people. So when you see these people in a wheelchair or has this specific disability, it's because God is restricting them from moving about like everyone else. Because why? It's a protection. Just like Kamar was saying, his special illness. I was telling him that illness is a blessing. Why? Because it's going to keep you from doing certain things that the average people have ability to do. And when you have the ability to move and do things, you're going to sin. If you look good, you're healthy, you exercise, and guess what? Why are you looking good for? Why are you going to the gym? To attract attention. And when you attract, of course, eventually you're going to attract the wrong attention. And when you do that, and that means sin going to come about. So again, this is a form of protection that God has given these special individuals who have these different illness. And also, I'm one of them as well. Not that I'm saying I'm special, but the point that God restrict you. These illness is not to be taken as a curse or a punishment. It is truly a blessing. Because why? It's like a child, right? Think of it this way. If you have children and then you have to go to work and that you tell them not to go outside and play, right? Because you don't want them to mingle with the other students, with the other kids, that's gonna destroy them, right? So you want them to stay in the house. And what do? You confine them to the house, right? You keep them inside the house. Why? So they don't get contaminated. So that's what, in a sense, God has done. Taking the soul, place the soul in this physical body, but with a restriction to protect them.
Yeah, all of that makes sense. We just have to also not be so, because the world has made it to where if you have any sort of thing wrong with you, it's oh my gosh. But the difference between the difference between the Torah and the Bible is that we actually use our weaknesses to boast about and to have power with, and to be able to testify and to help people or quote unquote win souls for Jesus Christ. How do I put this? About the being so perfect that it gives you something to contain yourself. That I feel like everybody has their own differences, and like everybody is. You got people that's perfect. You have some people that hold on. Let me see this right way. Nobody is perfect, but I feel like, me personally, I feel like there is no compartment of a illness or disease to contain somebody, because that's why we have free will. We have free will, and the Lord blesses you if you have free will and you still choose to do the right thing. That's why it's such a powerful thing, because if you read Galatians 5:13, that lets you know that yes, you have free will, but that doesn't mean to go out and sin and go do all this craziness, because judgment is happening and people do die every single day, and everybody will stand in front of Jesus Christ, everybody. And just sit here and think about that one day you're gonna stand in front of Jesus Christ, and everybody's gonna bow down and everybody will have to kneel down. But it's the point of you're gonna have to get a testament over your whole entire life. And the first topic we're going to talk about is one we was just talking about. We were starting on divorce. What is divorce? I'm asking you, what is divorce, and why is there over a 50% rate of the average rate is over 50% of divorce? That marriages ended divorce.
Perfect. One of the major, there's a couple of them. So I'll start with what is marriage, the purpose of marriage. The purpose of marriage in the Torah, the Old Testament, is the purpose of marriage is that when a man and a woman, first let's start with Adam and Eve. When they were created, Adam and Eve was stuck. Imagine two human beings stuck back to back, fused. Adam was the front and Eve was the back. And then God split them into two bodies, okay? Now it says it took them from the side. They took them from the side. It says the ribs as well, put them to sleep. But again, they were at one point, one body fused, and then God split them. Now, the purpose of marriage, more so for the man in the Jewish world, because a man is commended. It is a law for a man to get married and have one child and one male and one female. He's commended. The woman is not commended to get married, but the man is. Now, the purpose of marriage, of course, is a couple of reasons. One is that it's to teach the man and the woman to how to become givers. Why being a giver? Because God is a giver. And for you to be like him, because what does God do? He gives and gives and gives. And it's not natural or easy for man to give. And the woman is there to teach the man how to be a giver, because when he marries her, he has to learn to be a giver, to give her and put her first. And that's a hard thing for men to do, especially if the man doesn't know what marriage is all about, because most people is about me. What can I get out of it? So but the woman understand that perfectly. Why? The woman have children. What do the woman do? She's constantly giving. From the moment the child is born, she's giving to that child until she passes away. She will give that child. Even if that child 90 years old, she's alive, she will continue to give to her kids. So the man has to learn that, and that refines the man to become like God. That's the first thing. Now the second thing is that the purpose of marriage is to create, to bring souls back down to this world. There are souls that are waiting in heaven to come to this world. And then when a man and a woman, it says there's three people that creates a marriage. First, God, the husband, and the wife. Okay? So what happened is when you intimate with your wife, you create the body, and then God brings that soul into that body, and you become responsible. Now, we spoke about divorce. And the reason why divorce rate is so high is a couple of reasons. One, most people did not work on themselves. First, they don't even know why they're in this world for. They don't even know their purpose. They don't understand you're going to leave this place and meet your maker.
And when you start in marriage, actually, when you propose, you're basically telling that wife or that future spouse, I have a calling, and I need you to come and help me, and I need you to bring me towards that calling, because is in the Torah or in you're not Judas, but you're
Noahide.
In Noahide, is the woman still like, is there, like, okay, and you guys have laws, basically. We do as well, but we have 10 commandments. Is the woman supposed to be submissive to the husband?
Yes.
Still?
Correct.
And the woman is supposed to, earthly standards like cook, clean, wash clothes, stuff like that. Okay,
good. That's a good question. What happened to the second thing, that's a good point. Roles. Okay, role. A man has his role and a woman has her role. You understand? It's not that one is more important than the other. The difference is this: women are easier drawn to God because why? The man, remember, to understand why the man has a commandment to get married and he has a commandment to learn Torah, because the man has a higher evil inclination than the woman. Because meaning that when Adam and Eve was created and the serpent was in the garden, he wanted to kill Adam. He wanted to kill Adam, but he could not. Remember, the contract, the covenant was between Adam and God. It wasn't with Eve. But what happened is this: because that was that contract and the snake could not kill Adam, he went through the woman, because he knew if he could get her to deceive Adam, then God would kill Adam for him. That's what he wanted. He wanted God to kill Adam, but he could not go head on with Adam because he was afraid of Adam. That's how great Adam was. So I'm sorry, you were saying about I kind of got a little sidetracked.
Yeah. About the wife being submissive.
Yeah, the wife being submissive. Yes, the wife, again, the wife is submissive, but that is her role. Her role is to be submissive as well, to assist, because she is the helper. The man cannot complete his purpose in this world without her, because it says in the Torah, a man that's not married is incomplete, because remember, they were fused. So if you rip apart, there's a part of you that's missing, and you're going to always feel that void. So that void means your other half, which is the woman, and then God gave clear instruction who is responsible for what. And that's another reason why people get divorced, because why? People come to the table and said, 50-50, what you bringing? Well, what I'm bringing is what God says for me to do. What the woman brings, supposed to bring, what God says for her to do. And the only way that will work is if both parties understand their obligation. Everybody's talking about their rights. Oh, I have the right to this, the right to that. Yes. But no one's talking about their obligation, what they're supposed to do in the marriage. And because no one is speaking about their obligation, this is where it starts to fall apart. Then, of course, you have selfishness coming in. And, of course, you have the Satan, which is Satan. That's tugging on both parties. Okay? Now, remember, this is in regards to people who are following God.
Yeah.
You see? These are people following God. Now, those of you who are not into God, don't believe in God, look at your marriage. Because why? It's not standing on anything. A wind come, it's going to fall. Because it's not standing on anything. But again, these are some of the reasons why marriage fall apart, and also the submissiveness. Yet, the wife is submissive to the husband, and the husband also have to keep the wife happy. You see? So his job, the man is commanded to keep the wife happy. It is a command for the man in a Jewish to make her happy. It says, if the husband does not make the wife happy, God will punish him. Listen to that. So you can't say this is bias. He is commanded to make you happy, and then God will punish him if he doesn't. And he's not even allowed to make you cry. A husband is forbidden to make his wife cry. If he makes his wife cry, God gonna punish him.
Why are there so many rules and regulations posted like this? And does the Noahide God, does he believe that like the people could be almost like does he have no grace or no forgiveness?
Perfect. Now, that was a good question. Why is there so many laws? Let me ask you a question. Think about our world. Think about this country. What would happen if there was no laws?
Yeah, because we got sensitive women, though.
Yeah.
You have girls that cry like crazy.
Yes, but again...
Or maybe just the husband maybe raising his voice this much.
But see, that's beautiful. But that's where it comes in at, is this. You have to know who you are marrying. Okay? You cannot just marry anybody. That's another topic, soulmate and all of that. But you have to know who you marry, meaning that the first thing you need to do is this. I like to use this. These are supermen, super husbands, okay? If they were not super husbands, God would not have put them in the Old Testament. Abraham, Isaac, Yaakov. God used these three men to build his nation of Jews. He picked select these three men to refine them. And not only that, he also put them in the desert for 40 years to refine them, to make them the people that they need to be to serve him. So when people say, oh, this and this, no, you don't understand. You have to be refined. You cannot just go get someone and think it's going to work out. It doesn't work out. So God has rules, and God himself was refining these Jews in the desert for 40 years. You see? So the law is there to protect us. Because why? We all have this evil inclination. We want to say the wrong thing. We want to do the wrong thing. But again, when we know there's consequences, that's what holds us back. That's what holds us back.
So biblically standing, the Holy Bible, that standpoint on marriage is a man leaves his father and his mother and becomes one with his partner. And that's where, Christians and Noahides or Christians and Jews can get that, be like, oh, just like Adam and Eve were, back on back. And the word also says to be fruitful and multiply. Us as Christians, or us as followers of Jesus, as I really like to say that more, because I'd rather you follow Jesus than just claim you're a Christian just because you believe in him. Because we all know demons believe in Jesus as well. But if two followers of Christ to be fruitful and multiply, we look at fruit as grace, walking in humility, being humble, joy, and at the end of the day, winning souls for Jesus Christ, or the Lord using you to win a soul. And a marriage is two people, a husband and a wife, nothing else, no double man, no double girl, no two man, one girl. We all get the point what I'm trying to say. A man and a wife. And in the Bible, it's not a force to have children, but if you should want your generation to keep going. And it's kind of common sense. And there's probably a verse that says, But you got being fruitful and multiply, so have children, have generations. If we understand that back in the Old Testament, which you study very, very much more than, because I read the Old and the New because of the Bible. But, you had 18 children, you had 10, 5. Now, in my generation, what I like to preach on is to people that are my age. I'm 17 years old. And, if to say, 4th Timothy, no matter how old you are, lead and walk in the right way and make sure people see your actions so that they may be able to want to follow Christ. But back then, like I said, they had many generations. Now people don't want to have children, or the LGBT is growing so much that we're not going to see it now. But let's just say Jesus doesn't come back for another 100 or 50 years. The population is actually going to slowly decrease because there's no sex, there's no marriage, there's no being fruitful and multiplying. So a marriage, us being humans, it's love. God is love. So when he sees a man and a woman loving each other, that's very powerful. And it's a very strong thing to see a true follower of Jesus Christ, that's a man, and a true follower of Jesus Christ, that's a woman, walk together and according to both of their purposes. That's why you see the actual true men of God that are preaching the gospel, prophets, evangelists, apostles, teachers, they always have that wife, or the wife always has that husband to keep them intact. And about actually how the Torah says that if a man doesn't get married, how that is, he's what is it called? He's not fulfilled.
Yeah, he's not fulfilling his commandment. It's a commandment. Yes.
We get our fulfilling from Jesus Christ. Paul actually said that it was better that he was saying to all the married people, like, you should be happy that you're single at first. He was saying, a single person should be happier than a married couple because he understands about the quarreling wives and the nagging things. That's why the Bible stresses that it'd rather you be in a desert, or rather you be chucked in the ocean with a millstone around your neck, than be in a house with a quarreling wife. And I feel like that actually could probably lead some Judas or Noahides in the wrong way, because they're like, oh my gosh, I gotta get married. So the first girl they see, they're like, let me marry you because I'm not trying to die and be incomplete. You feel me? That's why we get our grace and our fulfillment from Jesus Christ first.
Nice. What happened too is this, in the Jewish world, these boys are taught very early in life, the laws and the rules. Okay, so by the time they hit 13 years old, they're allowed to get married. The latest they get married would be like 17, 18 years old. Because why? By that time, they have known so much knowledge. So much knowledge. What I know is nothing compared to what they know. They have so much knowledge, understanding what it means to be a husband, a wife, and a father. Because remember, that's another thing is this. We talked about this. We would go to school for 12 years, go to college to become a doctor, go in a job, and then if we're a driver or a truck driver, work at Walmart or Publix, we train how to do the job. But there's absolutely no training when it comes to being a husband, a wife, and a father. You finish high school, you're 18, you go to college, okay son, goodbye, get married, enjoy. What do we know about marriage? Absolutely zero. So how can we expect to succeed in something we know nothing about? And that's the most complicated thing there is on earth. Marriage is the most complicated thing there is in a human being life. But yet we have no training or not even a dot of understanding what we're getting into. And we are 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, and we're getting into this, and we don't know what we're doing. So what happened is...
And one thing about that part, I feel like a lot of people get nervous that they don't know what they're getting into, that they don't know what they're doing. But the Lord actually uses that because he wants you to have faith. Because, dang, it's crazy because every basic person that knows Jesus Christ knows this verse, that faith without works is dead. Because you have to have your faith. You have to at least have to trust in Jesus Christ. Because I used to struggle with, not knowing and, am I pleasing God or am I not? Because the Lord actually will honor you. The Lord Jesus Christ will honor you if he sees that you're doing it for him, or if he sees that you're doing it in regards to seeing him or wanting to please him. But I'm not saying that to take in as, oh, let me get high so I can get closer to Christ. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if he sees that you have faith, he's gonna lead you. He's gonna speak to you. That's why, Judaism or Noahides have the Torah, which that's what they read and that's what they get their instruction from. Just as we, men and women of God, follow Jesus Christ, we have our Bible, we have our Holy Word, we have our dreams, we have the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost, whatever you call him, and we have Jesus Christ, the one who died on our cross. Not that we should have to know everything, but to have grace and to trust and to flow in him. And then the next topic, what were we talking about yesterday?
Well, we're going to have to stop here because it's getting too dark. You see? I don't think we'll be able to hear to see it.
Nice 30-minute video, though.
Yeah. Well, we'll do it again. We'll catch up. We leave off where we'll pick up from where we leave off today, and then we'll continue this conversation again. Again, it's a great teaching for all of you to help you understand, because without God, you just simply living an empty life, and when you leave this world, you're gonna wish you were never born. Because why? You have never even come close to do what you were created to do. See you next time.
Yep, and don't forget, Jesus is Lord, Jesus is King. He loves you, and he wants to build a relationship with you. Don't ever, especially, don't get confused into this new age world with all the gems and all the tarot cards and all of that. Jesus Christ is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, and he loves you very much. I'll see you guys in part 2.
Take care. Good night.